Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Lead with Love podcast with Dr. Q, where we talk about love, leadership, and real life lessons that actually matter. Today, in episode 7, we're going to talk about leading through change in 2026, and it has already been a doozy. If you're here, remember, you're not here by accident. You're exactly where you need to be. So let's jump in. Let me tell you about a principal that I coached a few years back, and we're going to call her Monica. It was January, and Monica walked into her building excited about the new year. I mean, she had plans, she had goals, she had a vision for transformation. Then February hit. The district announced budget cuts, 20% reduction in staff. March brought new state testing requirements that contradicted everything that she'd been teaching her team. April, her enrollment dropped 15% because families were leaving for charter schools. By May, Monica wasn't leading change. No, she was surviving chaos. And here is what broke my heart. A lot of things break my heart, y'all. My heart's big. She was brilliant. She was capable. She was dedicated. But nobody ever taught her how to actually lead people through change with love. So she did what most leaders do when change hits. What she do? She controlled what she could. She communicated just a minimum amount of things that was required. And then she just hoped that people would just kind of adapt to the change. But how many know it doesn't work like that? Instead, her best teachers started updating their resumes. Her team stopped bringing ideas. And the culture, it went from collaborative to survivalist in 3 months. And here's the very uncomfortable truth. The only constant is change, but most leaders handle it terribly. Today, what we're going to talk about is leading through change in 2026 and how the Just Care framework gives you a completely different approach to leading change. And by the end of today's episode, you're going to understand why most initiatives actually fail, what your people actually need when everything is shifting, and how can you lead change with love instead of force. Listen, this isn't about managing change. This is about leading humans through uncertainty with joy, with humanity and care. So why does change fail? Well, let's start with what does the research say, because this is very sobering. According to McKinsey and Company, 70% of organizational change initiatives, they fail. 70%. But here is an even more shocking statistic. Research from MIT Sloan shows that only 38% of employees say that their leaders communicate a clear vision during change. That means 62% of people are navigating change without clarity about where they're going. I am currently a professor and I'm teaching change management. And I have my students reading John Carter, who literally he wrote a book on leading change. And it says that people don't resist change. They resist being changed. That's the difference right there. When you do not change to people instead of with people, you get resistance. Michael Fullen, big in education, one of the world's leading authorities on educational change. Everyone knows him. Reminds us that change is a journey. It's not a blueprint. Most leaders, they treat change like it's a project plan with fixed timelines. But Fullen says that real change is messy, nonlinear, and deeply human. So why do most change initiatives fail? Well, because leaders think that change is about systems, processes, and timelines. But here's what research from Harvard Business School shows, that change fails because leaders forget that they're leading humans. When change happens, here's what people are experiencing. The humans, this is what humans are experiencing. First thing is fear. Am I going to lose my job? Will I be able to do what's being asked? The next one is grief. I love the old way. Like I'm losing something that mattered to me. The next one is confusion. I don't understand what's happening. Why is this happening? And then some experience anger. Nobody asked me. This feels like it's being done to me, not with me, which 9 times out of 10, that's the truth. And what do most leaders do? Well, they announce the change via an email. It's not personal. They expect immediate buy-in. They get frustrated when people are resisting this change, sometimes because they think it's good. Or then they push harder instead of just listening to what the people are thinking and feeling. And that's not leading change. That's forcing compliance. And compliance without commitment is always going to fail. So, what does the just care approach to change? How does that align? How do we use the just care framework? Now, I'm going to show you a different way. When you are leading change with the just care framework, in your book, get it, everything is going to shift. The J in just care is joy. Keep the morale up. Change is hard. Your job as a leader is to protect joy, even when everything else is uncertain. This doesn't mean toxic positivity. I know it doesn't. It means, or it doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine when it's not. No, it means intentionally creating moments of lightness, of celebration, and humanity in the middle of chaos. Go check out the first few episodes about joy. When Monica, she finally turned things around, she started every single staff meeting with wins, even the small ones. I mean, we survived another week, and that's a win. That's what she would say. And it sounds simple, but it reminded people that they weren't just enduring. They were still capable of good work, no matter what was happening around them. The U, undo your tie, show your humanity. Listen, during change, people are terrified. And when you show up as the boss who has it all together, it creates this distance between you and the humans that you serve. Monica learned this the hard way. When she finally admitted to her team, I'm scared too. I don't have all the answers, but we're going to figure this out together. That is when trust returned. Your humanity, y'all, it gives people permission to be human. And humans can handle hard things. We can do hard things when they're not being done alone. S, surrender success. You can't control everything. And this is probably the hardest one for leaders. When change hits, we kind of grip tighter. We want to control it because we know a lot of that is going to fall on us. We want to control every detail because it also makes us safer. But here is the truth. You can't control change. You can only control how you respond to it. And Monica, she had to surrender her need to have all of the answers. She formed some committees. She asked for input. She empowered her team to solve problems she used to solve by herself. And we're going to talk more about that in the upcoming episodes. And guess what? They came up with better solutions, Monica and her team, than she would have ever been able to do by herself. The T, take time to listen. Hear the resistance. Resistance isn't the enemy. Resistance is information. And when people push back against change, they are telling you something very important. I'm scared. I don't understand. This violates something that I value. And as a leader, your job isn't to overcome the resistance. It's just to understand it. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So Monica, then she scheduled listening sessions, like no agenda, just a space for people to share their concerns. And she didn't defend anything. She didn't explain. She literally just listened. And what she learned transformed how she led the change. She discovered that fears that she didn't know existed. She learned that people needed what people needed and what she wasn't providing. She built trust by simply being present. The C in care, communicate. Clarity reduces anxiety, y'all. In the absence of information, people make up stories in their heads. And the stories that they make up are always worse than what's really true. Michael Fullen teaches that the single factor common to successful change is that relationships improve. You can't improve relationships without communication. Over communicate. You can never communicate too much, especially during change. Not just what is changing, but why. Not just the timeline, but what support is available. And Monica started weekly updates. Even when there was really nothing new to share, I know you're waiting for answers. Here's what I know today. That's it. Here's what I don't know, right? And here's when I expect to know more. You don't have to be perfect. Just communicate. And that consistency, it calmed people. Even when the news wasn't good, at least they weren't in the dark. John Cotter, he emphasizes that without credible communication, and a lot of it, the hearts and minds of the troops are never captured. You can't communicate too much, y'all, especially during change. You can only communicate too little. Yeah, too little. So a few real stories, right, that I collected from the thousands of people that I asked in research for the book. And there were spaces when change was led with love. And someone reported that my principal led us through a massive reorganization. She was transparent about what was happening and why. She listened to our concerns without getting defensive, and she celebrated small wins, even when everything felt chaotic. She admitted when she didn't have all the answers, and she never stopped believing we could handle it together. And what was the impact of that? The participant said that I stayed at the school for 5 more years through the budget cuts, through the enrollment drops, and 2 more reorganizations. I stayed because of her. And there's also, though, the flip side when change is led without love. One participant reported that we got an email on Friday announcing a complete restructure starting Monday. No explanation, no input, no support. And then when they asked questions, we were told to just deal with it. Half the staff left within a year. The impact? The participant said, I've never trusted leadership the same way since. Oh, do y'all see the difference? Listen, same challenge organizationally, but a completely different outcome. The variable wasn't the change itself. It was how the leader led the humans through it. The leader is always the difference. Leadership is always the difference. So, what do your people need from you? Here's what people need when the change hits. The first thing they need is honesty. Even when you don't have the answers, just say, I don't know yet. It is better than silence and not saying anything or giving them a false sense of reassurance. Number 2, consistency in communication. Listen, y'all, create a system for it. Weekly updates, predictable touch points, just no surprises. Number 3, space to grieve what has been lost. Y'all, don't rush past people's sadness when change comes. Acknowledge it, honor it. Number 4, permission to be scared. Woo! Model the vulnerability as a leader. Say, this is hard for me too. Number 5, evidence that you're still with them. Show up. Be visible. Don't hide in your office because you're scared and you don't know what to say. Number 6, hope that this will lead somewhere good. Connect the change to the mission, y'all. Help them see the why, and that will make the world of difference. So, what do I want you all to do this week? If you're leading change right now, okay, which typically everyone is because change is always there, or you're about to, here are 3 things I want you to do this week, okay? Number 1, schedule a listening session. No agenda, just space for people to share how they're feeling about what's happening. Don't defend it, don't explain it, just listen, and make sure you put your phone down. Number 2, communicate what you know and what you don't know. Send an update this week, even if nothing's changed. Just here's what I know and here's what I don't know yet. And here's when I expect to know more. Just say that. Number 3, celebrate one small win. Y'all, when you celebrate wins, it'll fix a lot of stuff. Find one thing that's working, one person who's adapting well, one small victory. I don't care what it is. Acknowledge it and do it publicly. Y'all, change is inevitable, but leading it with love, now that's a choice you have to make. And before I let you go, I want y'all to remember, go get your book, Lead with Love, 8 Heart-Centered Strategies for Exceptional Leadership, on Amazon, and you'll know what Just Care means, okay? Go get it. Surrender Success, has an entire section on leading change that goes a lot deeper than what we covered today. So go get your book. Next week, we're going to actually be previewing the S in Just Care, Surrender for Success. Why you can't do it by yourself. We're going to be talking about surrendering success, empowering your team, and why control is killing your leadership. Quinice, did you hear that? Control is killing your leadership. Got it. Don't miss it, y'all. Now, listen, change is coming. Change, it's actually already here. Budget cuts, policy shift, legislation, staff turnover, technology disruptions, enrollment changes. Y'all, it's here. And you can't stop change. But you can change how you lead through it. And that's what we want to do. And that's what this book will help you do. Lead with joy, even when it's hard. Lead with humanity, especially when it's hard. Lead with communication, because silence breeds fear. Lead with listening, because resistance is information. Lead with love. And your people are depending on you to get this right. Thank y'all so much again for joining me on the Lead with Love podcast. If today's message spoke to you, please share it with the leader who's navigating change right now. They need this, and they need the book. They need to know that there is a better way, and there's a way to lead change through love. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss next week's episode. And if you are feeling generous, leave me a comment or a review or something so that people know that it's helpful. And remember, leading with love isn't a one-time decision, y'all. I say it every week. It's a daily choice, especially during change. Until next time, be well and lead with love.